The following program is made possible by Planet Earth Diversified, Melli Productions, and Leslie P. Jenkins Photography and Graphic Design, with additional support from Flavor Magazine, serving the Piedmont's local food and wine culture.
My name's Jagger Rutledge. I'm a biological woodsman, and you're watching Meet the Farmer TV.
I'm Michael Clark for Meet the Farmer TV, and today we're in Floyd County, Virginia with Chris and Erica, the founders of Floydfest. We're going to find out about sustainable harvest of timber right here in the forest, and we're going to see the construction of a special timber frame structure that will be the front of the house to house some audio equipment and another kiosk for information. So Chris, Erica, tell us about their several festivals, or there's Floyd Fandango, there's Floydfest, and on Earth Day you're going to actually raise this structure.
Yep, Earth Day is the next thing coming up, and what you see behind us will turn into a front of house structure.
Solid and
that
beautiful.
Will mimic the beautiful construction and design of our existing Streamlined stage at the Floydfest site. Then in July 4th weekend is our first event up there off the Parkway. That's the Floyd Fandango Beer and Wine Festival.
And that's microbreweries from the area?
Yep,
Yes.
Local and beyond, regional wineries, you know, a great roster of beer and wine, and some awesome music.
Incredible music, J.J. Gray and Mofro and Buckwheat Zydeco's 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Plus camping, just general fun.
Wow.
And then at the end of July, the 23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, we have our 8th annual Floyd Fest.
Floydfest Revival, so that's a good time to celebrate and pick it up.
Yeah.
Right.
80 plus bands and artisans and eco-friendly demonstrations and food and more. So.
What we're interested in here is how the whole community has come together. And you all have been living for years sustainably, and we're going to see with a healing harvest with the trees coming out of the woods. And
Draft horses, yeah.
And was it Streamlined?
Timberworks.
The Timberworks. So the whole community, it's not just that you've got an event on a piece of land somewhere. This entire community is living this all year long, and you've just got a few festivals to celebrate that.
Absolutely. Well, having named our events after the town, you know, there was some kind of pressure to have the two get along. But it's been a real natural marriage of the town, the community, because we are a small and intimately connected community. And the event, the Floyd Fandango and Floydfest, that showcase many aspects of that community. So,
Wow. Well, this is really great. So while the rest of the country is thinking the economy's in the toilet and requiring the federal government to give billions of dollars for bailout, Floyd County is really doing great. And we're going to have some wonderful celebrations, and people are going to work together. It looks like a real success story we should use as a model for the whole country.
And you got to keep your head up, man.
That's right.
Keep on
There's a
dancing.
lot to celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, even in this, there's some really there's a silver lining to this cloud, I think,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
right.
We saw that the community was behind
Yeah.
us. We had the energy. The place was going to work. People would come. We just had to have the stick-to-itiveness.
And I think, you know, the event today, you know, speaks to that, how strong the community in Floyd is. A lot of events are thrown in towns where the community really isn't there. It's just promoters coming into town and whipping something up. Whereas Floyd, you know, really supports authenticity, really supports people who believe in what they're doing, and especially if it's positive and involves the community. And, you know, Streamline is a perfect example of that. And we're just tickled to death to have so much beautiful architecture at the festival and community support.
Yeah.
It really adds to the overall experience.
Now, this is still at the same location?
Yep.
So this is 7 years now. This will be the 7th?
The 8th.
This will actually be the 8th year coming on. Floydfest 8 Revival. We pick a different theme every year that kind of tries to, you know, go along with national, international trends on the way people are feeling. And luckily we picked Revival this year, and I think with our whole political climate and everything else, it's time for a revival.
You know, there's a lot of diversity at Floydfest, but there's a commonality that transcends all that with everyone who comes, with everyone that participates, everyone we're involved with. And it's just been a really organic effort. You know, here we find ourselves on this foggy day at Streamline headquarters with Healing Harvest and the horses and people that have come from a variety of places to come, you know, to this birthing of the front of house structure. It's really neat. It's opened up a lot of different avenues and opportunities for a lot of folks involved.
And you have a production company now? Across the way production?
That's who we are, and we have a nonprofit arm, Blue Cow Arts. Okay. And we have a team of people, like when we do a couple out-of-town events, we take 80 to 90 folks from Floyd with us.
Wow. So this is a real important thing for the economy of Floyd County.
For a one-stoplight town it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And we've been 7 digits for sure. Yeah.
We have an Appalachian-style workshop porch and a global village area where this year we have things like, and within the small Floyd community, we have folks who do primitive tool making and are doing workshops on that, and composting and, you know, sustainability efforts generally, and they'll be down there. And also we have Eustace Conway, the guy with Turtle Island Preserve from North Carolina. He's coming up, so we're going to have a really neat community down there this year, just kind of the same thing you're doing, but during the festival, talking about how, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what works, let us teach you, let us show you. And then we, of course, have a huge roster of musicians. Even in the economy, we are determined to give folks extra value. So we put extra resources into the lineup this year, and we have a great musical roster of, you know, headlining artists, regional artists, and this Under the Radar series that we do that showcases a lot of the best up-and-comers. That's something we've kind of become known for.
Right.
And we do healing arts workshops. You know, you can get up in the morning and do yoga with, you know, 50 other like-minded people. The children's area, we give prime real estate to kids and have really engaging things going on in there for them.
So how do people find out about it? At floydfest.com? Is that the best place to go?
Yeah, that's the most comprehensive source of information for sure, though what we've really found is word of mouth is where our advertising is.
What we offer people is an authentic experience. It's not just a concert. It's an experience in community relations. It's an experience on how your actions affect those around you, the environment, and I just don't want to, you know, exploit the environmental issues. You know, that's very important, and I see a lot of events even starting to use that as another marketing angle. And I think what we've done is just try to give an authentic, positive experience.
Yeah, we just want to say, you know, use your best judgment. Come, please pack out what you pack in.
So we're here with Steve Arthur, StreamLine-Timberworks. We're here on the assembly floor, and we're going to look at how some of this timber frame structure goes together. We're going to actually get out in the woods. We'll follow a tree coming down, being dragged out by horses and sawed with a band mill just in the other building, right?
That's right.
Well, Steve, good to meet you.
Likewise, nice to meet you.
Tell us what's going on here.
Well, what we're looking at here is the pre-assembly of the roughed out pieces. Once the trees have been harvested, sawn on the band mill, dressed, surfaced with a planer. The joiners do the layout, do the cutting, clean up with chisels, and after that, we pre-fit everything to make sure the dimensions are correct, everything is square, the joinery is tight, prior to actually doing the sanding and final finishing of the timbers.
Well, show us some of the charts here. Show us what we're going to be building.
Well, 2 years ago, StreamLine-Timberworks designed and fabricated what is the Hill Holler stage. It's a white pine timber frame. The timbers were cut locally. We joined it locally. We had a raising event with other contractors in the area, and within 2 weeks from empty site to finished structure before the festival.
Well, now we see that what we're going to build. Is it Jason Rutledge?
Jason Rutledge.
He'll take us out and show us from standing timber all the way to the band mill.
Absolutely. And Mike here will saw the timbers for us, and then we can go into the shop and show you the layout and some of the cutting process.
Terrific. Let's go get in some mud. So you're going to take us down and show us how you choose the worst first. We're going to pick a tree that should come out, and you're going to show me how you're going to fell it without damaging the good timber in the forest.
We're going to do a demonstration of the open face hinge and latch method.
Terrific. All right, let's go.
When I got my first chainsaw, and of course I kind of, you know, through the family and the farm, I've been driving horses and farming and raising horses for, well, 28 years. And with the logging, when we really started managing the forest, I don't really call it logging, because I'm not really a logger. I'm a forest manager, and draft horses are my medium there. It's really the forestry that's one of the more important things of what we're doing out here with the revolution of restorative forestry and an alternative method of managing timber. And so that's really important. That's the most important part, and the most sensitive way that we knew that we could get these logs out is with draft animal power. Up in these mountains, we have some pretty brutal winters, and it gets real cold and real windy and icy. And what happens is the exterior of the tree freezes, and then we get a big wind, and it actually cracks. And you could think about a tree as a thin layer of living material that's surrounding a big stack of dead material. Wood is dead material surrounded by a thin living layer. So if you expose that thin living layer, then nature's job is to decompose it. And so that's what happens, and then your tree enters into a state of decline. The first thing is it's always site specific, where when you're choosing timber and such. It's we're working on a worst first basis. We take in everything from aspect, exposure, soil type. They're all important to dictate what kind of timber you're going to grow on that site. And this is an oak, typical oak hickory forest. You're going to have a lot of red oak, scarlet oak, a lot of poplar. But what we have here is we have a maple, a soft maple, and it's really in bad shape. Its three indicators are this frost crack, and if it wasn't raining, you'd see it probably has some black weep coming out of it, from where nature is doing its job in decomposing dead matter. And then you have, there's our first, is our damaged, and then our second is this is an inferior tree. It's never gonna make my landowner money. It's not a climax tree, and it's kind of taken up space where I could have better timber growing, like
and it could fall and damage one of
this poplar. It's not the best. It's not the best specimen, but we're going worst first, and this is the worst of these two trees, and we're going to cut this and hopefully release that tree to give it a better chance of healthy survival. Every time you pass by a clear cut, it's a big billboard of what people are really not attracted to, and they have their place, and we have our place, and so we just want to represent our little niche and do the best that we can do in the forest for the forest and everyone that benefits from it. I think the place that I can put this tree that'll have the least impact on my forest is going to be in this hole right over here. I'm going to kind of sneak it right between that poplar, and there's a hickory over there and a dead locust. I don't think I'm going to hurt much over there. I know I'm not going to hurt much, actually. So now that we've identified that, we're going to sight it in, making our number one cut, which is going to be the front of the face, our number two cut, which is going to be establishing a horizontal plane that we will use to match up our cuts in the middle of the tree, both on the levelness and on this angle as well. So that was our number three cut, establishing the back of the hinge, removing 40 to 50% of the material, replacing a wedge 45 degrees from the back of the hinge. The back of the tree would be 90, right in the middle at 45. My man Adam will do that. Now we're going on to our fourth and final cut, establishing the back of our hinge on the other side of the tree and removing the remaining material. As you can see there, we used our plane, our horizontal plane, to match those cuts up. Timber! Keep looking up for 6 seconds for falling debris. And 6.
I'd say it's right on.
It's about where she wanted to go. And this is the method we use to most sensitively harvest timber here in the mountains of Appalachia in Floyd County. I guess that time it seemed as close to perfect as I can do.
That's terrific.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We're here with Jason Rutledge, and he's going to show us how we actually use horses to remove this timber from the forest. And it's a nasty, wet day. This really wouldn't work very good with a skidder.
Nope, the horses are a superior cultural practice. I don't like to call it technology because it's not technology, so I call it technique. The horses are actually able to gain purchase on the ground and pull large, heavy objects with less impact on the soil itself than any machine. And it's often said that the compaction of a horse's hoof is greater than the weight on a tire, but the point is it's not continuous tracking. The horses actually pull 1 foot at a time, so the spot compaction of the horse's power is less damaging and compacting to the soil, so you have less erosion. So the horses are a superior way of doing things from a lot of perspectives. Probably one of the most important ones is that they don't use fossil fuel. We actually operate these power systems on solar energy in the form of hay and grain that's captured by the plant's body. So we don't have to rescue Kuwait or Iraq in order to operate these skidders. Another superior feature about them is that they're self-repairing. There's never been a machine that fixed itself, and with the horses and a little cultural care, they actually will heal themselves. But probably the sweetest feature of the animals as a cultural practice is that they're self-renewing. You've never found a baby skidder in the woods one morning, and we've had horses born right on the logging jobs. As a matter of fact, 2 of these horses that are here are mares that will surely reproduce themselves in the future. And that's a superior technique to be able to heal yourself, repair yourself, and replace yourself.
And you've actually got a charitable organization to promote this information.
Sure will. We'll be glad to tell you all about Healing Harvest Forest Foundation.
All right.
Thank you. And I can see the editor now going, snip.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the woods. The team of horses that you see coming here now are our regular team of Tongue and Wedge, 2 well-trained Suffolk geldings, and they're being driven by one of our current apprentices, who is Melanie Carrier, who came to us through Sterling College in Crestbury Common, Vermont, and did a full semester for 6 credit hours. And here come a pair of their sisters. The one horse on the left coming towards you is a full sister to the left-hand horse in my team, and the other one is a new horse that's only been working for about 3 weeks. And they're being operated by Mr. Blaine Chapin, who is Blaine has a company called Mountain View Horse Logging and Horseshoeing. He's a farrier as well as a biological woodsman. He works here in the county and all over the area, harvesting timber, as a living for a business. And I'm just very happy and proud that Blaine is doing that good with these new horses. And there go a couple more beams for the Streamline front of the house Floydfest structure that will be the result of processing this material and building this structure for the Floydfest. In the world of horses, our approach has been recognized as being world-class, and my goal as a mentor is to train our apprentices in the skills of how to be a good horseman, as well as I am also a forester, as well as how to practice restorative forestry by imitating nature and taking the worst trees first and being sensitive about the felling to not damage what you leave, because what you leave is more important than what you take.
Right.
That's part of being a steward, of leaving it better than you found it. And it's just a combination of these many disciplines and philosophies that requires a diverse set of skills and knowledge, and it's a special way of making a living. It's not something that everybody's going to be able to do for all sorts of reasons, but for those people who are athletic and committed and that enjoy having a high human dignity to their life's work, this is an excellent choice of a living. It's like the bumper sticker up there on the back of my truck. Our goal here is to make a living, not a killing.
Well, that's good.
Without the youth, there's an interesting statistic. The average forest products industry worker in the state of Virginia is 56 years old. The average age of our biological woodsman apprentices who go on to be practitioners, biological woodsmen working in their community, practicing restorative forestry with modern animal power, is 31. So that speaks well for the green jobs creation of our 501c3 public charity, of the Healing Harvest. They are actually doing a good job creating employment that is not only green, but most importantly, sustainable. This can go on forever. One of the terms that we use is carbon positive. We try to point out that because we are leaving the best trees to grow as old and as big as possible, we're not only storing more carbon in the form of these big plant bodies, but because we use animal power, we're actually releasing far less carbon into the atmosphere. So it's a
and you're growing some hay and storing some.
That's right. It's actually carbon positive. And you know, like I was saying about the advantages of the horses, we produce fertilizer as a byproduct, not pollution.
Right.
And the fertilizer actually goes onto the ground and increases the topsoil and the organic matter content and the carbon storage capacity of the fields. So this is as green as it can get from a common sense understanding. It is labor intensive and it is low production. But in this day and time where overproduction is an issue, to devalue the price of raw materials, and where job creation is the #1 thing, since we now have 10 million unemployed people in America, we think this is one of the best green jobs creation programs going.
I found out about Jason and his work in Vermont while I was at school. It's kind of a small school up there, but I grew up in Virginia. So I'm a Virginian born and raised, so it was really important to me to be able to come back here and do this good work here. And it's full 6-credit course, and you just keep in contact with the school, and you know, it's a good deal. It's a good program.
That's terrific. And you brought your partner down, and you're back in Virginia here? So are you guys trying to do this as your own business?
Yes.
So once you get all the wonderful training from Jason, then...
And once we feel comfortable and confident and doing it on our own.
Right.
And we've got a pair of mares in training right now. And you know, soon they're ready also.
So in a few months we can give you a call and say, hey, we need you to pull some timber for us.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than a few months. But.
But they will be closer to you if you're based in Charlottesville, because they will be in Nelson County.
Oh, you're going to Nelson. Oh,
because
good.
It's like a field of dreams. The people that really want to know how to do this find us. And they do whatever it takes to acquire the knowledge. And it's our goal to give them that knowledge and to inspire them. And I think one of the greatest factors that these young people and all of these folks that are involved in this represent is human dignity, that they can truly feel good about what they're doing with their lives. And that's priceless. And that kind of value system is really required for doing this kind of work, because you're not going to get rich saving the planet. You're going to have to enjoy what you're doing and want to do it in order to work this hard, work this dangerous, and have a modest form of income. So, you know, the people that are doing it and the people that support them are inspirational to me.
Right.
And that's why it's easy to not only love a good, hard-working red horse, but good, hard-working young people, you know.
Well, this is amazing, and this is an important part of what we're trying to do with Meet the Farmer TV is show these sustainable businesses and opportunities for young people that they can do something besides text an iPod all day and wait for mom and dad to buy them a BMW. Now, Jason, if there are other people out there and they want to do like these two young people and come and learn from you, and how do they get that started? They just
I think the first step is to go to our website, which is www.healingharvestforestfoundation.org, and fill out a biological woodsman apprentice application and mail that to us.
So you've got a cut list now, and what are you trying to make out of this log?
This log I'm going to try, I've already gone through all my 8x8s. I've made enough 8x8s that are on my cut list. I'm going to try to make some 6x8s and some 4x brace stock and a couple boards.
Now this log was standing timber just a few minutes ago.
Sure enough, not even an hour ago maybe.
That's right. All right.
And the horses drug it up here and we're getting ready to make some wood out of it.
So tell me the process now. You're just gonna try to get a flat side on that, and then you'll start working that to square it?
Yeah, I'll eye it up. This is a fairly straight log. If it's got a crook in it or something, I generally try to cut the crook off first, and I'll eye it up and try to just maximize the usage of the timber itself.
Well, now since this is local timber, you pretty much know where it comes from, so you're not too worried about metal or some contaminant in there.
No, not necessarily that, because the ones out in the woods generally don't have anything in it. Maybe a shotgun slug or something in it, you know, and that's pretty soft. But if it's growing around somebody's house, you got to check out with a metal detector and that. And these, I just got to watch out for the mud and try to saw through the mud instead of into the mud, and that keeps my blade sharp.
Well, we're here with Carrie and Julie. What's happening in the community? There's artwork on the walls. You're buying local produce.
We change our menu seasonally, so every season, whatever's in season locally is what we change our menu and try to do it for at nighttime.
Well, that's great. And you've got a little patio outside, some herbs growing out there.
Yeah.
The patio's getting ready to open up, and we just we're going to start a greenhouse. We just basically got the foundation laid out. We're going to have a greenhouse for Oddfellows, and Oddfellows is going to have its own garden as well.
Oh, really?
This year. So, along with using all the organic growers we can possibly around Floyd, and there's so many, and they're so great. We buy anything they have in season, but we also want to, grow some specific things for our menu in our own garden. And it's definitely a good community to live in. People, when they come here to visit, are always talking about how they should move here.
Now, is there anything we didn't cover? Something that you think's important to say?
We have a new local brewery in town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Shooting Creek Brewery, who just
it's a microbrewery.
Yeah, it's a microbrewery, and we have it in the bottle now. We're going to put it in tap probably in the next week or so. We're going to have it on tap. So it's Floyd's first local brewery, and everybody's excited about it, of course. And it's right now I think they have 2 beers, a brown Buffalo Brown, like brown ale, and then a pale ale, Rebel Pale.
So a further expansion of the local community and artisans and entrepreneurs working together.
And they grow their own hops, so it's they've got a really good thing going on there as well. So we feel proud to be able to support them and have the beer here as well.
You do any like open mic or poetry reading?
Sunday night's open mic. Sunday night we do open mic, and it's poetry, music, whatever you want to do. It's kind of the local. You can get up here and say what you want to say or sing what you want to sing, basically.
Yeah, we've had local play groups here. We're going to do a mystery dinner, and we've had belly dancing here as well. So we try to get a little of everything.
So you got a lot going on.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, try to do special events to for people basically to come out and have a good time. Is what it comes down to.
I hope you'll join us here at Oddfellows Cantina in Floyd, Virginia. Well, now we've seen Floydfest, timber framing. We've also seen sustainable harvest of logs in the woods, and we've seen a local restaurant here in Floyd, Virginia, Oddfellows Cantina. Thank you for joining us for another Meet the Farmer TV. For additional information and extended versions of this program, visit our website, www.meetthefarmer.com. How it gets turned into a special timber frame, a special timber frame.
We'll say it.
Thank you, Erica.
The dream, it'll never come true.
All right. So how exactly did you get this job as a draft horse? You were born into it. The preceding program was made possible by Planet Earth Diversified, Melli Productions, and Leslie P. Jenkins Photography and Graphic Design, with additional support from Flavor Magazine, serving the Piedmont's local food and wine culture.